What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. A professional man and a street dude can have the exact same type of personality. Yeah, I know I'm gonna start some stuff. People say, hey, Rom, there's no way. You know, that professional, he's educated, he got the degrees, he's making that money. Street dude is just trifling. I didn't say they had the same job. I'm saying they can have the same personality. Let me say something about that, and I'm gonna give some examples as we talk. Too many people get caught up in the status of somebody. Status ain't nothing. That can change. I use myself for an example. I've said so many times, I've worked 1,000 jobs. I've worked at the Department of Justice. I've worked at several offices. I've also worked retail. I've also done vending. I've also worked at a gym. Those are different classes of jobs. Only thing that stayed the same, personality. Too many people get caught up into, they thinking the job or the status and stuff equals the personality. No. It's just that, a job, a status, a career, a business. You know? I could change what I'm doing tomorrow. My personality be the same. Now, this came up because somebody hit me up privately because they were wondering how is it a woman is imprinted by, he knows of a woman who is, he definitely know was imprinted by non-street dudes. But the majority of men she take up with now, he said, were street dudes. And that's a very simple answer. Their personalities are the same. What they do for a living is different, but their personalities are generally the same. See, the personality, man, that's with you. That's with you for life. And but if you take two different people, they can have the same general personality, but just express it in different ways, different circumstances. But it's still the same general personality. Say you have two young men, very aggressive. They got the aggressive natural leadership and stuff. Or let's just say the natural leadership, aggressive natural leadership. They can even be a hard-ass leader, but they can still lead, right? One was born into an impoverished environment, a tough environment where the school systems are bad. School systems are bad, and it's basically an urban jungle or trailer park and stuff. It's a rough area. But he still got that leadership skills. Now, see, in the circumstances he's in, he might get into some illegal activities. He might form a drug organization, right? He might be one of those vicious dealers or something. Okay, he's a street cat. And somebody say, he bad and everything. And I'll get into that in a second. That depends on with the laws. All right, so you got another kid. He grew up he was born into an affluent environment. Affluent. Both parents there working, zero crime where he's growing up. He's taking care of everything, but he still got that aggressive personality. Now, he might not, they'll spot it. They won't suppress it, but they might get him involved in sports early. They might send him to a military boarding school. They'll do something. They'll get him playing sports. Say, okay, you the team captain. Now they got the same personality, but they just expressing it in different environments. See, don't get caught up in the job. Don't get caught up in the environment. Personality is deep in there. Let me give you another example. Because somebody say, nah, Ron, that's crazy. Okay, let's say somebody, in this example we all know. Say you get some young man, he starts some contraband substance organization, right? He starts some contraband substance, let's say marijuana. All right, he started operation and a serious marijuana. He's moving it. He's just messing with marijuana. All right, people will say, they find out, they say, oh nah, he's streets, he a thug, he all of that, right? Even though he got a great business. The legislature in his state legalizes recreational marijuana. So that same guy, people were calling a thug and street and terrible and all that, gets a Businessman of the Year award. Like, I'm willing to bet if somebody take all these cannabis dealers and all this in illegal areas, that all of a sudden, like, they exploded overnight. You start scratching the surface. They already had the business operation in line. All they did was legalize it, got to pay taxes now. You know, I mean, seriously. But it's the same. They had to have the same personality to make it work. See, don't get caught up into what they're doing. Because I thought about that, and that's not something new for me. Because, like the example I gave of 2 different kids born in an environment, you know, like, and when I first started talking about it decades ago, I said I was using a racial concept, because I said, yeah, some of these black boys that they say too aggressive, because they were trying to have some programs. I forgot the name of the program. It was a program back in the day. They were talking about giving black boys some drugs and stuff. Oh, they were being too aggressive and all of that. And I said it straight up in front of some people. I said, look, if those were some white kids, they would just put them in programs to develop that leadership. But they got the same personality. See, you got to pay attention to whatever the social environment is and the cultural environment. And it's just a matter of what they're doing. It's like this Tantra master said one time. He said, he was talking about marijuana. He said, yeah, people got in trouble for it, but if that same person who could sell it, start selling some legal herbs, like some of this like holistic stuff, boom, you know? And see, that's what it comes down to. Now, because we talk about that imprint thing again. The woman ain't imprinted to the man's job or whatever he's doing for a living. First of all, when many are imprinted, they imprinted as teenagers. They imprinted to, and what they do, let me be clear about the imprint, because a lot of guys thinking they imprinted a woman. If you ain't in that first 3, you're not part of her imprint, period. And, you know, and even people thinking they overriding it, you got to match the imprint before you can think about overriding. And really, you don't override it. You just match it. But let's get back to the imprint. The woman's imprinted not by what the guy does for a living. Gee, see, women ain't imprinted to a job. Only time women go after men in specific jobs, they consciously looking for the money or the status of it, but that's not an imprint. The woman's imprint is psychologically to whatever the men's personality was, their body types, their personality, and all of that stuff. That's NATO. They don't have anything to do with what someone does for a living. Because even in that situation, the guy said, they might have been non-street dudes, but they could have been very aggressive how they did shit. You know? That's why you had, and seriously, that's why you had situations where you have actual street dudes, actual criminal types. I mean, not just street dudes, criminal types. They changed their life around. And you know, all of a sudden they on the straight and narrow making big money. I know a young lady, she was stabbing people when she was a teenager. She was stabbing people. Now, if you to see her now, you wouldn't think she was there, but it's still the same personality. Her personality hasn't changed at all. In fact, I shared a picture of her on my Raw site a while ago. I say one of my members picked up a look in her eyes though. Like she still got it, but she just used it in a different way now. She used it in a different way. She actually got a name out there. I ain't gonna give it. Because you wouldn't think anything. But see, that's because you can't get caught up into the status. Like, I give a real famous example. Malcolm X. That dude was straight in the streets at first. But then when he got saved, rehabilitated by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all he did was just use those same skills to recruit for the Nation of Islam. That's all he did. He was still thinking the same way. In fact, that's why I'm gonna tell you what, people get too caught up into that. You know, they think it's some stereotype. They a thug. I'm gonna tell you what. I never forget it. I've talked about this. I talked about this before when I said I did a seminar for some straight thugs. Like, the only reason they had to be there, the judge pretty much told them they'd been there. I don't know if they would have showed up otherwise. The judge told them they had to be there. It was part of some the exact term, like after they get out of prison and stuff, and they might have to go through some counseling or something. So basically, it's a group of them. And the thing was, if you saw them though, now I'm going in knowing these are like convicted felons. I walked in, I'm seeing these young men. Well, I say the ages were from like 25 to 40. I'm seeing these men that look like I'm walking into a Bible study. And that's the thing. See, I'm gonna tell you what. It's come down when we talk about relationships. I definitely, and plenty of people talk about the physicality and all that, but not enough talk about the personality. And that don't have anything to do with status. If a man has a control issue, if you get two men, they both got control issues. One might use it to abuse the people in his environment. The other one might be just a tough ass CEO or something that's real tough ass, or a killer. I'm gonna get back into that CEO thing. Well, let me just jump on it now. I remember years ago I was talking with a buddy, a mentor type, and he said, shit, people think some of these suit and tie CEOs or something, shit, if y'all know them well, y'all be scared to touch them. They crazy. You wouldn't want to meet them in a back alley. And I've seen some guys on that level, if you just be with them and talk with them, they'll have the same killer look in their eyes as some street dude. If some real, like, men who run shit. They'll got the same way. They'll check out everything, look at everything, size up people. It's like, well, damn, ain't no difference. One got a suit on, the other one don't. Seriously, personality-wise. And that's along anything. It's all a matter of the environment, how they use it. Say you have a person that's a stone cold killer. They just got a killer instinct. Like, they can spill blood and it's the equivalent of swatting a fly. You have some men who got that. And if you get in the hood, they calling him a sociopath, crazy, and all of that under those circumstances. Okay, he a killer. Put that same person, put that same man into the military. Train him to be special forces, or train him to be with an intelligence agency doing black bag operations. He's a hero all of a sudden. I'm like, well, what's the difference? One, he gets he might even get a parade in his eye, get a bunch of medals, pay raise. Hollywood might make a movie about him. The other guy do the same thing? No, of course not. But the personality is still the same. And that's the key thing. Because, what I'm seeing, of course, too many people getting into the job and the status, but what the fuck that mean? Like I said, from a personal perspective. I've worked in the government with top security clearance. And I'll just put it out there like that. I'm authorized to lie about a certain period I was in the government. I'm actually authorized. Like if I shared something right there, like if I said exactly what I did on this video, yeah, y'all wouldn't see me doing videos anymore. I'll have somebody like locking me up. Seriously. So I went, I've been there, but also working retail and stuff. Was there a change in personality or status? No, it's just a way to make money. And when you get down to it. And only you true gold diggers are like focused on the money any damn way like that. And the status. But most women, when they click with a guy, they clicking with his personality. I don't know why people can't get that. What they supposed to do? This ain't no robot shit. So, like I said, in that situation, focus on the personality. See, when I talk about the imprint, that ain't something I just accepted when I was first learned about it. I was talking with women. I was interviewing them. I ain't telling them what I was interviewing. I would just ask them and say, hey, yeah, Tell me about the first three guys you had sex with. And then as soon as they tell me, I say, oh, yeah, you be dealing with this type of guy. But they never told me about the jobs because it's not important. They will always say, like, say if they were imprinted by, and the imprint technically ain't the man anyway. The imprint is the blueprint, the combined traits of the first three men. So once a woman give me an idea about the first three men, their general traits, physical, mental, and everything, what I would do, I say, oh, okay. I'll wait a few minutes, talk about something else, and then I say, yeah, type of men you deal with. They got this, this, and this. You'd be like, Rom, how you know? It's the personality, but never the job. You know? You know, it's all where you at. You know? Depends on where you at. Shoot. Especially with like the professional street dude thing, it depends on the laws wherever you at. You know? What's illegal in one country might be legal in another. Like pimping. You know, sex work. You got some places on the planet, shit's legal as hell. Then you got some other places it's not legal. It's all, you know, don't get caught up into that. Get caught up into the personality. If someone has a control, you got guys with control issues. You got guys with they're gonna be clingy. You got guys who are more intellectual but gonna be like, you know, keep a distance from people. You got some people just cold-hearted. Let's use that one. A cold-hearted person, cold-hearted man, oh, he could be a straight-up gangster. He can be a straight-up gangster. You know, up there robbing people, doing all that. Or he could be an attorney who don't give a shit that he's defending somebody who, like, did some terrible things, as long as he get paid. What's the difference between them? Only thing is like some arbitrary law. And I'm going to say arbitrary because look at the thing, like I said, the example of marijuana, cannabis. You know, one state, everything, they don't have medical marijuana, recreational, somebody selling it, they get locked up. They could literally, I mean, seriously, think about something. I want you to think about this, just think about it. And whenever I'm talking, just think. Don't have a knee-jerk reaction. And I can't stand when men are emotional and I just think about it. But think about it, though. Think about it. Say you in a state that's, you know, selling cannabis is totally illegal. Like, not even medical cannabis, right? You literally live a few yards from the state line. It might literally be across. I mean, you might get across the state line by just hopping the fence. I mean, seriously, just hopping the fence or something. You know, you got some places like it's like literally. It's like you just in the right place. All right, so there in the state is illegal. The person decide, hey, you know what? I'm gonna move over here. Yeah, it's a different state. I might have to pay a little bit more. All of a sudden, he's in a place that's legal. I mean, think about it. The only thing that changed was just the law. So in one state, oh, he a straight street thug. He's trifling. He move over a few yards. All of a sudden, he can get an award or a plaque for Businessman of the Year. They probably give him a special. Goddamn. They probably give him a special deal. You know, just to set up a store or something. I mean, yeah, but yeah, don't get caught up in some of those semantics. It just comes down to personality. A woman, I mean, if you put, like I said, and that's it, you put the two together, take out what they doing for a living, just look at the general personality and everything. It's the same thing. I'm in with this because I told y'all, 1,000 jobs. One of the things I did was work in the criminal justice system. And I had worked as an investigator for defense attorneys. I had a case back in the day, and it was like a major drug ring got busted, right? And these were young guys. These were in high school. And some of the guys were in a private school. And it was very extensive. You had adults, everything. The leader of it was a 16-year-old guy with charisma out the yin yang. I mean, he had a serious organization and everything. He had a serious organization. And I thought about it. I met him because even when I served a subpoena on him, even though he had like some guys with guns on him looking at me, he was like, and he didn't even make it. He said, "You got a subpoena, man? Come on, give me that, man." Remember, I saw him in court. Man, hey, Rom, how you doing, man? You all right? Man, that 16-year-old had charisma. And I said, this dude got this major operation. He's protected from, he was testifying, but he was really, nobody really implicated him in such a way they could bust him. I mean, it was perfect. And this kid, he just had, just talking with him, this kid had charisma, intelligence. And I said, that same kid, if he got involved like in a business school or something, yeah, he would have been in his 40s by now. He would have been in his 40s now. He'd have been on the cover of like Forbes, Fortune, probably have a special on him. Yeah, Black Millionaire and stuff. It just changing what he did. And may it rest his soul, because yeah, somebody put a bullet in his head, you know? And this ain't about that, but it was just like, it's all a matter of what you do. You know, as far as the streets professional. Well, let me say that in another way. Don't get caught up in it. Because when you're talking about relationships and imprints and who the woman dealing with, I don't care what it is, she's still dealing with the personality. Even some of these women who like street type of dudes, they will still respond to a professional man who got that edge to him. They'll still respond to that. You know, the dude ain't committing crimes, but he still got that bitch come here attitude. You know, he still will dominate her in the bedroom. That's all she responding to. It's not that they street. It's they responding to the personality. That's why you got some professional men. Shoot, it ain't so much they professional or they got a degree. It's so much they got that aggressiveness. Because even when women respond to the street guy, they responding to that aggressiveness. Because in the streets, you got to have that. So, anyway, focus more on the personality traits. You know, physicality is important, personality traits. It's not enough to talk about it, because that's what it comes down to anyway. I don't care what your bait is, with everything else, the personalities have to click. Anybody who don't see that, well, I don't know what to say. I would just say, I put it like this. If you don't think it's about the personalities, don't tell me your opinion. Come with some study. Come with some documentation that it's not about it. I want to see it. And not a theory either, like some definite, like some people studied it and stuff. And they don't just say it because you don't feel like it. Because that's another conversation. You know, I don't like when someone gives like, oh, I disagree with it. Okay, why don't you? You know? If I disagree with something, I'll give you a dissertation why I disagree with it. I don't just say, oh, I don't disagree. I say, no, I don't disagree because of this, this, and this. Seriously. And that's another conversation, because I'm tired of people just men going off their feelings. Everything I talk about, I've experienced, I've explored, I've studied, did the qualitative research. So, anyway, gotta go in and get something real quick. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.